to the latest episode of the Lisa Pezik Show. This podcast, even though it's named after me, has absolutely nothing to do with me, but with the amazing guests that I bring on. And I am so excited. I know my energy is normally on a 10. If we had like a Richter scale, it'd be like a 35 right now for the guest that I have on today, because I genuinely feel like I've known this woman since I was a kid. I feel like we were soul sisters in a different lifetime. We were meant to come together. We were meant to serve women. We were meant to do the thing that we're doing. And I can't wait to tell you sneak peek of something that's coming even deeper in a little bit. But for right now, let me tell you who I have here with me. Meghann Conter. Meghann, I'm so excited that you're here with me today. How are you?
Lisa, I feel the same way about you. I'm super excited. And because I do feel like we're sisters from another mister.
Yeah,
Honestly. It's like we've had such a similar life journey and the deep personal growth work that we've done. We're both in marketing. We're both part of the Dames now. And there's just so many things that I've seen this coinciding of the two of us, even though we've only known each other for like a year. It feels like a lifetime. Or more.
Totally. Oh, I feel the same way. I love when you message me and you're like, if only, like, I couldn't even love you more after this.
Yep.
And I'm like saying the same thing to you. And that's the best part of friendship and collaboration, is when you really are vulnerable and generous and you show up fully as yourself. And then you're met with the other side going, wow, I love you. Thank you for that. Such a beautiful union. So let me tell you about Meghann. Meghann Conter uses her personal power or power to connect, elevate, entertain. You definitely entertain. Something I love. I never know what voice you're going to meet me with, what personality I'm going to get, and it makes it so fun. God, it reminds me that life is so fun. And celebrate extraordinary women as the CEO of the Dames, which I am a part of and I love, a global community designed specifically for women running and leading 6- and 7-figure businesses. Meghann believes that anything can be accomplished through fearless collaboration, laughter, fun, and love. Yes, once a burnt-out, over-network CEO, she is now the global ultra connector for women who thrive in the space where self-worth and net worth align. So let's talk about like how you got here, because the Dames is such a unique community of women, and I swore off all women networking. Like, I just was like, no, I'm not even gonna dip my toe in that water. And what you've created is so different. So tell me how you got there.
Yes. I too entered into the networking witness protection program, as you did at one point. For me, it was because I had so many lacerations and band-aids all over myself dealing with the business card stab wounds that I had from going to all the events where everyone is just trying to give you their deal, or trying to get you, sign you on as their next client, or trying to get you to buy their XYZ MLM program. And that on top of, I was growing a business that I needed to surround myself with other women who were at and above my level. And that was really difficult to find. Statistically speaking, a vast majority of female business owners don't ever get past 50,000 in revenue in their business, a vast majority. And so there's a lot of brand new business owners and hobbyists, which is great. We all need networks. We all need communities. And so do the women who are running 6- and 7-figure businesses. And what I found was that there wasn't anything out there for us. And so what do you do, Lisa, when you're trying to become an expert skier and you're an intermediate skier? Do you go onto the bunny slopes and ski with the beginners, or do you go challenge yourself and ski with the people who are at and above your level?
You play up. Yeah, you go where you're going to be pushed and loved on the whole way.
Exactly. So that was the primary motivation, was I need something that is going to be totally different in the ways of networking, because most of us have that bad taste in our mouth from that feeling of walking into an event and feeling like you instantly have a target on your back and someone's trying to sell you. And just from that feeling of, my God, if I have to sift through another brand newbie and get my brain picked within an inch of my life, I'm going to never do this again. So yes, of course, I entered into the Networking Witness Protection Program in about 2014 because I had stacks of business cards and nothing to show for it. I was also a pro at attending every networking event, morning, noon, and night, nothing to show for it. So I said, all right, I need something revolutionary here. And when I need a big transformation, I just cut it all out, give myself a lot of time to go inside. I learned a new way of connecting with people, and I played with it. I morphed with it. I danced with it. And then I reemerged from my cocoon with this new thing called, at the time, Denver Dames. And that was a Colorado-based, obviously Denver-based organization where we got together. We had a reverse mullet approach to networking, which meant the party was in the front and the business was in the back. So women could come together and they were excited to actually be amongst one another. They weren't bored and watching like they were watching grass grow or paint dry. They were like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is such a different environment. So we have female comedians or improv troupes that perform at our events. Then we have inspiration from our dames of influence running 7-figure businesses. We have education and edutainment provided by our chapter presidents. And all of this was just an up leveling to this high vibrating community that I was creating. And as it kept growing and outgrowing our venues in Denver, I really had a moment of aha where everything became clear. And I knew that this is going to be an international organization where we had a global first, local second approach to building community. And we came together to develop and build long-lasting, strong power partnerships with one another, which means you're coming into this organization, finding your allies, finding the people who are going to help you grow your business by referring business to you, by masterminding with you, by being a business bestie. And you weren't going to have to feel that hunter, that predator prey feeling ever again. And you were going to enjoy yourself. You were going to connect with women all around the world. And yes, there would be local chapters for you headed up by specifically amazing, extraordinary women in local communities who would bring together those local chapters. And there was always this back end of a global membership to connect to. So we have expanded. We're now in 37 states and on 4 continents. And my vision is to have chapters all around the world and to just continue to shift the paradigm from very masculine, ego-driven business to more balanced female, male energy, and to really elevate the amount of women who hit the 7-figure mark and the amount of women who get into the C-suite in a very different way.
Okay, I'm just going to put my pen down and we're just going to say goodbye, everyone. Thank you for showing up today, and done.
Thank you for coming to play.
Oh my gosh. So much goodness. And I want listeners, I want them to really hone in on, you created what you wanted to see. Mm-hmm. You created what you wanted, and instead of going and trying to find this right fit or find this thing, you went, shit, why not me? Why can't I go and create this? And I remember my mentor, Bo Eason, telling me about the guy who created the Porsche. That was his like tagline, like, I created the car that I wanted in the world. That was, I was like, I wish a car could do this, and I wish a car could do that, and I wish it could do this. And he went and created what the vision that he wanted to see in the world. So I love that you started there. Yes. And it was the vision for what you wanted to see in the world, not what is going to impact me the most. Because when we talk about generosity, it's about that community. It's about that movement. It's about the goodness. And when you lead with that, everything else falls in place. And the right people and the right things are attracted to you. And being a Dame member, I can say that whether I'm talking to someone, if we want to even use the money metric, whether I'm talking to someone who shares with me, yeah, I just hit, I'm at 110,000, or I just, broke that 6-figure mark, or yeah, I've been doing 1 million for the last 3 years. It's the same interaction that I have. There is no ego. There is no scarcity. Well, I'll give you this little crumb, but I'm not going to actually tell you what you need to know. There is this layer of generosity. And I think that's a lot because you led with the right vision and you led with the right mission. And I love that it's fun. I love that it's a space that you can be vulnerable, because I know same thing, I've gone to every academy and every women in business, not even necessarily women, just every personal development business building conference you could probably think of in the world I've been to. And I can always remember pulling on my jacket or buttoning up my cardigan, and it never really shifted for me that I'm walking in with this wall already up because of all those things that you just said. People are pitching you, they're spamming you, they're not looking for a real connection and a real depth. And that's what makes it so different here.
I think that there's 42 different directions we could go in here, but I think that there's a liaison between you and I that we both believe, because of the work that we both have done. We both believe that we can only grow as much professionally as we do personally, and that personal growth has to come first. And always, there's never an echelon that you hit where it's okay, I'm done growing. Nope, that doesn't exist. So there are plenty of other organizations out there that only focus on, your business metrics and your business growth, but that without coupling the vulnerability that only can come from personal growth creates an environment that I don't want to be part of. So that was another big motivator for me, was the ideal Dame is someone who is growing her 6 or 7-figure business with a lifestyle set of values and personal growth mindset at the forefront. They've already done personal growth work, and they're going to continue to do that as they grow as leaders. That is the ideal Dame for me. So that in combination, the whole thing around generosity that you and I love to connect on is it has to come with a few things already existing, right? So you have to have that personal growth mindset in order to really be able to be truly generous. You have to have an abundance mindset, which doesn't come naturally to most people because it's not what our society teaches us. It's not what our parents teach us. It's just not our normal state. So a lot of us are going through those journeys in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, who knows, depends on where you're at. But it also, generosity comes when you're dealing with a high caliber network. It comes when you're dealing with this idea of true collaboration through power partnerships, as opposed to competition through selling anyone and everyone. So all of these elements feed into a community feeling and having the quality of generosity. And I think that has been intentional. It has been intentional for me to create that since day one.
And what does it look like for you? So you're constantly pouring into this community, and you're constantly pouring into your chapter presidents, helping the presidents set up their events, and just there's so many layers of so much goodness that is in this. And it's that you can't pour from an empty cup. So what do you do to fill your cup to make sure you're still moving the mission and moving the vision?
Yeah. Like I said about the personal growth thing, I'm either doing deep spiritual shadow consciousness, whatever you want to call it, work at all times by attending my own workshops, retreats, working with different coaches, or I'm doing deep personality growth work, understanding myself better from an Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, Strength Finder, human design, more self-awareness standpoint, or I am learning about, what additional money blocks I've come up against, because we're always have new layers to uncover there. And each 0 we add to our business, there's more money stuff that comes up to get past. So I meet all of these challenges head on, and I shouldn't, that sounded very masculine. I meet them heart on, with my heart wide open. And I really realized that this is what life is about. It's about spiraling through more and more echelons and layers of depth and saying, okay, am I going to evolve through this and transform through this? Absolutely. It's not going to stop me and keep me small. It's going to help me continue to expand in love, in joy, in fun, in intuition. Intuition is a big thing too.
100%. Your gut never lies. It's funny because when I think it was Tina Dietz, I think it was the one that introduced me to you. And the same, she was like, just get on with Meghann. Because I'm like, no, I've been there, I've done that, I've run these groups, I've been a part of these groups. Like, their mindset isn't the mindset that I play in. And I realize that I'm a rare breed. And she's like, I know, I'm a rare breed too. Trust me, you got to meet with Meghann. Just trust me. Yep. And I'm like, oh, okay. But the second that I got on with you, my intuition and my gut was like, okay, all right, listen a little deeper. Okay. So your gut and your intuition doesn't lie. And I also believe that people come into your life at the time when you are meant to grow and be challenged and break those. Again, I mean, that was a limiting belief for me, that all women networking groups are this way. And, I think that's why people get sent into your radar to help you shift that. And it's funny, I wrote like hashtag heart on when you said, that sounds very masculine. I'm like, wow, we at the Dames, we help women get heart-ons.
Yes, right? I love that. Heart-ons.
I'm like, you'll get a heart on.
I love it.
It's interesting too when you meet the women. I think there's a big misconception too that maybe only certain people reach the 7-figure mark, or only certain professions reach the 7-figure mark, or the multiple 6-figure mark. And I'm always in awe of the, like, people are like, well, who are in the Dames? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's just a mix of every kind of profession, you could ever imagine. And it just goes back to that personal development and that personal growth. And you're not your title. There's many of you in that profession or role out there. It's what you bring to the table and how you show up and how generous you are.
Yep. And it's having an understanding. I think the biggest culture shift that we create, or mindset shift that we create in the Dames, is this total paradigm shift from competition to collaboration. And that we do that through teaching people about power partnerships and how to really understand it, how to embrace it, and then how to develop those long-term relationships. And it's not easy for a lot of people because it's very different than what's being done out there. And not to mention, is it different that you have to learn something new, but it's different that we actually connect you with your best strategic power partners. We do that for you. That's something that's totally unique to the Dames. And it had to be that way for me. I was like, nope, if it's not fully different than what's out there, and it isn't solving the issues of what bad networking brings, then I don't want anything to do with it. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't bring a hell of a lot of fun and love and like that feeling of everyone getting hugs, no matter if it's virtual or in person, then I don't want it either.
Oh, we crave connection, no matter what stage of life you're in. I mean, we're not meant, back in the day, if you left your community and your tribe, you got eaten, like the saber-tooth tiger or the bear or whatever. We're not.
That's right. Join any other network and you'll get eaten.
You will be eaten. The saber-tooth tiger will be licking its lips coming after you, because you don't have that community that gets you and that's solving issues. I love how you said that. It is very movement base. It feels like we are tackling the world's issues one woman at a time together. It's like we're putting our brains together, putting our minds together, putting our hearts together. And I think what woman doesn't want that? It's just that we haven't found anything like this. And it's I love that it's 37 states and 4 continents. And it started as It started at your kitchen table. You said, right? Like in your living room.
Well, it started actually in a business mastermind group that I was part of. So it started in a little room inside of, a co-working space here in Denver. And our first events were held at a little teeny wine and cheese making shop in downtown Denver. And we had 22 women at their first event. And it's like, it's, 400 plus members all around the world and chapters launching in different markets all around the world. It's just, the sky's the limit.
Totally. And it makes me think about, so other than obviously there's that designation of 6 and 7 figure, because that just brings a certain mindset and commitment. Because I was sharing with a few people
caliber.
They're like, well, why is it 6 and 7 figure? And like a few people kind of like, right? And I'm like, it's just a mindset. It's, you don't have a scarcity mindset. You have a growth mindset. You have an abundance mindset. It's like,
and not to mention, there are plenty of places out there for the sub 6-figure business owner. Everything else out there is for that business owner.
I remember
this is different.
I remember too, even, and sometimes, or I shouldn't say sometimes, and that is for your best interest.
Yes, it's very much so.
I joined a high-level mastermind very early. I was just like high 5 figures, just 6 figures. And I made this leap and joined this like mega, mastermind. And I remember the gentleman was teaching us about ads, and he was saying, you got to drop $5,000 a day on ads. And I'm like, that's
what?
Like, that's like 2 months worth of like income. 2 months worth of income for me. You want me to drop that a day? And all the strategies that he was teaching. And I was like, okay, how can I like scale this back to my $500 budget or $1,000 budget, but you have certain conversations at a certain level that are applicable. And I think that's why you don't want to be in a place that feels so overwhelming, and then your imposter syndrome kicks in, and then you miss the whole connection and message because you're too busy, chattering in your head negative stuff. So I love that it has that designation that not only protects the integrity of the brand, but really is looking out for the best interest of that person.
It totally protects the integrity of the community itself. I just say it's simplified. We're celebrating similar successes, and we're also overcoming similar challenges together because we're in similar stages of business. Most of our members that are in 7 figures are, let's say, between 1 and 10, 15 million. We're not the group for the $100 million company. We're not the group for even the 25 million, $50 million company. That is, we love that some of our members are part of 2 communities. That those are usually WPO, EO, YPO, and the dames. We have other communities that we love to refer business to, that when women aren't quite at that 6-figure mark, because there's other things you need to learn. There's other battle scars you need to get, before you can get to this level and then feel, like you said, like your needs, wants, and desires are being met by this group, which is exactly what we've curated.
I love that. And I find when you are filled up, when you are abundant, when you're in the right place that you're supposed to be with the right people, you are willing to be generous. Like I used to hate in that marketing. We both come from a marketing background where it's like, have 5 secrets, but just tell them the first one, or have 5 steps, but I'm like, you're a dick if you do that. Like, I'm like, that's so disrespectful to your audience to be like, I have the solution to all your problems, but I'm only going to tell you the first, right? Like that like give them a taste. And I'm like, no, give them everything you have so you build a solid relationship. And that's like, it's like the word karma, where people always go, ooh, karma comes back to bite you in the ass. And I'm like, no, not if you're putting out good karma in the world. Karma is a beautiful thing if you're putting out goodness. Yeah, you have 5 secrets to change someone's life and you only give them the first one, and then they got to pay you for the next 4. Bad karma's coming back at you. You give them all 5, but then have that next step and something even more amazing for them when they're ready and they've mastered that 5. That is good karma. They're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell their sisters, they're going to tell their mama, and who knows who is going to bring that back to you.
Amen, sister.
So even just the way the Dames markets and like we slash all that, I love it. I don't have to explain marketing, or I don't have to explain generosity. We all come from that same mindset. And as you said, it's probably because, it took some stuff to get to the 6 and 7. You've been through some stuff and you made some mistakes and, you did some things and you learned along the way. So,
Yep. You did some things you weren't so proud of. Just kidding. Maybe, possibly.
Maybe.
Like I keep this stack of business cards in my drawer that's got rubber bands around it just to remind myself of what I'll never have to do again. Never have to do that kind of networking.
Yeah.
And, it's just like one thing to just say that I was listening to while you were talking was the difference of creating a community the way that I did. I see the advantage was I had this great marketing background, right? So I knew exactly what was needed in order to create a sustainable business. Right up front, I knew what our values were. I knew what our mission was. I knew what our vision was. I knew exactly who our target audience was. And when people come to me now, so therefore I knew what my products and services and everything else that came behind it was. When people come to me now and say, what about this? What about that? Like, what about the sub 6-figure business owners? Do you want to create a Dames Junior? What about the multi 7 figures? Do you want to create a Dames Seniors or Elite? No. What about this? What about that? It's like, I am here to serve this audience with this mission. This is what I'm focused on. Now, generosity in my mind means that right now it's a little bit of a generosity of a donation that I'm able to give to my preferred organization, which is Systematization, which is a global incubator for Black women entrepreneurs. But that is not the problem I am solving. That is the problem that Makisha Booth and her team are solving. And I'm able to give to that cause. And my vision is to give to many more causes that are working to help the other underserved communities. But my focus is still getting more 6-figure women business owners to the 7-figure mark, getting more directors, VPs up to the C-suite. That's what we're here for.
I love that clarity. It makes, when you have that, it makes the yes and the no so much easier. Because that's the problem when you're good. And we've both probably experienced this in our life. You're good. You can build things. You can create things. You can be successful at things. You can shake the world up. You can do good in this world. So therefore, could you do absolutely every opportunity that comes your way?
Of course.
Absolutely. It's not a matter of just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I love that. You're doing the darn thing. And it's like that. I remember the one rowing Olympic rowing team. I remember reading, they were saying they had a guiding question as they were in the Olympics, and they had a guiding question as they were training for like a year for the Olympics, and it was, does this make the boat go faster? And if the answer was yes, then hey, do you want to come out drinking and celebrating with me about Zada's birthday? Does this make the boat go faster? No, thank you. Do you want to go over here and do this thing? Does this make the boat go faster? Yes, okay, I'll do that. And I love that almost mission. Like, does this bring about more women to 6 and 7 figures? Yes, then I'm down for that. Is this a beautiful distraction? Not saying it's a bad distraction, right? The junior or the elite. It's not that it's a bad distraction. It's just pulling you away from the main vision and mission that you set when you wanted to create this and when you did create this. So it's just the clarity piece. We talk about how important it is to be who you are, what you need, where you're going, what you're doing, where you need help, what you can do, what goodness you bring into the world.
Well, it's clarity and it's focus, right? It's also an intelligent way of growing business. Like I'm sure you've experienced this in marketing, when clients have come to you and they're like, I already have these 10 offerings and I want to add these 20 this year. And I'm like, and you're making $350K a year, and what your marketing budget therefore is 5 to 10% of that. How do you plan on getting these all out there? Or, I serve these 5 different key demographics. Or, any of these other things, which is basically trying to be Starbucks when you're not. You can do that when you're Starbucks. You can have the hot chocolate that you market to the little kids, and the milk that you market to the little kids. And you can have the decaf, why bother lattes that you market to the, 80 and 90-year-olds, but they have a multi-billion-dollar marketing budget. It's an entirely different thing.
And you think
Who
about
are you?
even Apple, they didn't launch the iPod, iPad, Mac. They didn't launch all their products in the same year.
No.
What people forget when you hear this, I have multiple streams of income and I have 400 different products. They mastered one. They mastered one process. They mastered one funnel. They mastered one thing. That is bringing...
Or they diversified.
Right. That is bringing in consistent income, impact. You've got system strategies, team, people. Then you're duplicating that towards
bingo.
Like people they get lost in the, I was told I should have 17 streams of income, yet this brings in $100, this brings in $300, this brings in $1,000. And then when you add it all up, you're working like crazy, but you're not actually having any impact.
When 80% of your income is coming from 20% of your products or less, your streams of income. You got to look at that and say, okay, what if I were to only scale the most profitable, the most generative, the most fun, joyful services or products that I offer, what would those be? And do that and get that locked down, systematize the crap out of that. Then when you get to that point of total systematization, it makes it easier to develop those other lines. Oh, girl, we could talk about this all day.
This is a whole sideshow episode coming on after about this. But these are the kinds of conversations that you can have when you've been in the game and you've been around and, you're helping people get around those roadblocks. Whenever I'm at the level that I'm at now and a lot of our clients, it's not about adding more. It's about eliminating, and it's about streamlining. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is people think they have to grow to 6 figures or 7 figures or 8 figures. They think they have to add more on. And a lot of times it's
nothing could be farther from the truth.
Yep, taking a hacksaw and chipping it away. But having communities and people that you can bring it to and say, hey, I'm really scared to chip this thing away. What do you think? Right? What has anyone been here before? Can anyone, it was interesting. I was on the B2B call connection and we were doing the big ask, right? And I was like, my like in my head, I'm thinking my business is good. Like things are really, it's been an incredible year for us and a lot of growth. But what do I need? And I thought about this one woman show that I'm writing. Again, just like personal, to sing and to put on this play and just a personal, like now or never, like kind of thing. And I'm like, crap, I need a playwright. I'm like, I need someone to help me get legs on this thing. I was in a group, there were 12 of us, so 11 other women. And I thought, what the hell, I'll throw it out there. I got 4 playwrights. And then from those 4, 1 or 2 were like, I don't think I'm the right person for the job, but go talk to my friend who's exactly who you need. And I thought, whoa, that is the power of 11, 12 women. Again, we think it has to be like hundreds of people, or you could talk to one person in that community and have that answer to that thing you're struggling with.
You know what that is, Lisa? That's the power of clarity. That's the power of total clarity of what you want. When you know that, when you're clear on it, and when you can help other people see that because you've stated it in a way that they can easily understand, it becomes possible. When you're trying to ask for 10 different things, you wouldn't have gotten near the same result. You would have gotten a bunch of confused people who were like, what does she want? I don't know. But getting that clarity and believing in the abundance that will come to you by getting that clarity and asking for it, the universe has no choice but to give it to you. It just happens.
I love that. Yes, yes, yes. So
should we tell them the secret, or do you want to trickle some of the secret dust on them? What do you want to say? What do you want to tell them?
Let me ask you, what do you look for in a chapter president?
What we look for is a dynamo star personality who stands up at the front of a room, whether that room be virtual or in person, and just all eyes go on her, and she feeds off of that because she knows that she is confident in herself, in her leadership. And then she is able to turn that focus back on the room and bring them all in to help them feel very included, safe, loved, vulnerable, valued, and for them to all then be able to feel that generosity being poured all over them, and for them to be able to connect in a very authentic, amazing way with that woman at the leadership at the helm. She's running her own stable, steady 6-figure or 7-figure business. She has a team of people supporting her, and she really already has a cultivated tribe of people and wants to be able to elevate her leadership of that tribe of people and bring them together through laughter, connection, and love and business growth.
Amen. Everything we want. If we're not gonna have growth and we're not gonna have fun, we're not gonna.
Why the heck are we doing it?
We're not gonna do it. You won't stay. You won't do it. You won't stick with it. So I would love to tell them.
Yes.
So I am going to be a chapter president, and I'm so excited. Southern Ontario Dames. Are we in Canada yet?
No, this is the first Dames Canada chapter.
Oh my God. So does that make it? Oh no, I guess because we're North America. Hello.
It's the first international chapter.
What? I can't believe we're here, because I was like, I am not ever leading these things ever again. I've never felt more excited. I was telling you, Meghann, when I was away on my cottage vacation, listeners, I was having these visions of just the power of what is going to happen in my community. I love that it's global, but it's also local. Yep. And I just had this vision of really what's going to transform in Toronto, and all the surrounding, the greater Toronto area, Hamilton, Ancaster, my own neighborhood, because we're so thirsty for it here. It's so needed, and it's that breath of fresh air that gives people to go, oh, somebody is finally doing it different. Mm-hmm. And typically I'm always the odd woman out. Like, I'm doing it this way while everyone else is doing it this way. Whereas I'm so excited where I found a place that my vision aligns with your vision and everyone else's vision and mission. So I don't have to feel like I'm recreating the wheel, or I don't have to feel like I'm really stretching myself in a way that isn't fun, that it feels so foreign to me. This feels so aligned with me. And I'm so...
This wraps right up with what you're doing already.
Exactly. And it's that generosity that now I get to share it, and I get to build this tribe. And I'm so excited that it's going to start with my close friends and my close people, that we're really going to have this welcoming, beautiful community for people to step into. And absolutely, I'm so freaking excited for the events. I'm so excited to build this community. I'm so excited for them, whoever joins, the beautiful women that join, to get tapped in as well to this global. I mean, yes, they will be here in Toronto, but they will, and Southern Ontario, but they will also be connected to women all over the world. So they can feel all this goodness and love and fun. I laughed my ass off at our last event. It was so fun, and God, do we need that more than ever now, to laugh and let go a little bit and heal and know that we got each other, right? There's just that power in, like, I got you. And every time I come to an event, or I connect with someone, or I get on with a power partner, it's like it's like that unstated I got you. And you do that to that person too. And to me, that's like priceless, to have that kind of connection in your life. So I'm so excited. So more to come about the event and all the goodness, and just a major kudos to your team as well, because I know that you are the face of it, and us presidents are the face of it, and the members are the face of it. But there's so many people behind the scenes that do such amazing work. It takes a tribe, it takes a community
to raise a community.
Raise a community. And I love that so much.
Right.
So,
me too. Everybody be paying attention to the dames.co, and you'll be seeing that Southern Ontario chapter popping up real fast, if it hasn't already by the time this airs.
Yay, Meghann, I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you. Thank you. This was such a fun conversation, and I hope the listeners had fun, playing along with us and got some good golden nuggets along the way.
Amen. Amen. Remember, be generous. Give it away. When you have reached that level, be generous. Even if you haven't reached that level, be generous, because goodness and karma will come back to you. Someone will come into your life that you've been looking for. That right next strategy or thing or that clarity that you need is going to come to you when you're willing to go inward, know yourself, and then be generous with everyone that you come in contact with. So thank you so much for being here. Meghann, thank you so much for your wisdom and your insight. And we will catch you next time on the Lisa Pezik Show.
Bye, everybody.